You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
What's up, mateys? Welcome to the Mark Lesko Podcast. I'm your host, J. Rod, and this is Pirate Central. What more is there to say? You come out of the All-Star break knowing you went out of your last 9 games. You went 1-8 in the last 9. You had time off. You knew that it was a pretty rough stretch. It was a road test. I mean, all those games were on the road. 1-8. And yes, we all know that by that point, you were 18 games under 500. You started the second half of the season against the worst team in the AL. The White Sox did not have a good record at all. I believe they were, I want to say 60 or 32 and 60 something. Like that. It was abysmal. Like it was way worse than us. I know they were like 6-7 games below us. And how did you respond? You responded like a team that has absolutely no fight in them. You know how the season apparently is going to continue. Or you want to continue. This is arguably one of the worst offenses, that like us, like two really bad offensive teams. And the most unthinkable thing happens. You gave them probably the best numbers they have seen since they were competitive back in 23. We got swept during Yinzer Palooza weekend. And they look probably as bad as I've ever seen. Getting outscored 27-7. I cannot believe that this team apparently can take like one of those drill machines and just dig deeper and deeper and deeper. It's almost as if like it's a challenge to see how low they can sink. They just keep going down. They just keep finding a new depth. And I don't really know how much of this really is on Don Kelly. I really don't. Because when he came in and they were playing Donnie Ball, they looked like a team that actually had some drive and some purpose. And then it just went away. When they left Pittsburgh for that 9-game road trip, it's almost as if they got a phone call from either the MLB or ownership. It just seems like they were told, like, what are you doing? You're winning. Stop it. That really is what it looks like. Because their one win against the Minnesota Twins, Keller pitched his butt off. And they won that 2-1. And I'm pretty positive not one of those 2 runs they scored in that 2-1 win were off of like singles. I think they were all fly out, ground out sacrifices. I think the most runs they've scored in this whole entire endeavor is the 4 runs in this weekend. I don't know. I'm pretty positive of that. They have basically no life in them. They are playing like they are completely deflated. They just are there to exist. I just don't understand how an organization just can go this bad. Again, you're just looking at all the offensive names, and it, Kutch had a decent showing one game, maybe couple. I mean, I think he's the team leader. I mean, in terms of the average, I think his batting average is like 255. I can't put Nick Gonzalez into this conversation because he's only had so many at-bats compared to everyone else. I got to go with the guys who have been doing it all season, not just the ones who have good numbers. And again, I think Brian Reynolds has some of the most at-bats of any other player, and I think his batting average is somewhere around 230. I mean, it's probably the worst of his career. I don't think I've seen it any lower than that. And he has 10 home runs, like 46 RBIs. I can't remember exactly the numbers, but all these numbers just scream not competitive, not even like attempting to stay average. Like they're playing like a losing team. From the lineup change where it's like you don't know if you're going to get Cruz at the, leadoff or Horowitz or Pham, that right there just screams like they're not trying to do anything competitive. And they keep putting Bart in over Davis when we clearly know that Bart he's diminishing. He's not as offensively sound as he was last year. Don't know where that went. Again, there are many things that you look at with this organization or this team, and they just keep making you go, where has that gone? Or why is it as bad as it has been? It's a very good question for a lot of things, and they just never seem to have answers. Like we, the fans, have questions, and they never have the answers. It just seems like we are just constantly in this purgatory of mediocrity or disappointment. There's no real solution other than what you hear from the fans throughout the entire weekend, who were expecting to see some wins against a really bad team. I mean, that is our mistake because, again, this team, the Pirates, loves to prove time and time again that if it's a really bad team, good team, it doesn't matter what kind of team it is. They're going to find ways to be the worst examples at the worst possible time. That's what the Pirates apparently love to do. And, of course, I have to bring this up because this is what you have to know. And you already know, but maybe some don't. This series has put the Pirates in a franchise losing record. 10,878, 10,870, or 80 now. There are 2 games under 500 as an entire organization in the history of their existence. They have not had a losing record as a team franchise since 1902 or 1903. That is 122 years. And we can honestly say that pretty much, I want to say since the Barry Bonds trade back in 1993, it's been one of the most abysmal franchises in the history of any sport. I mean, if you look at the last 32, 33 years of a franchise, I'd like to think that only the Cleveland Browns are as bad as we are. I mean, we only have, in 32 years, we only have 3 appearances in the playoffs, and they were all wild card. We did one time get beyond the wild card game and get into the divisional round, but that ended that, and we haven't had a winning record since 2018. It's the last time they had anything remotely worth getting excited for. I cannot believe, again, how when you have to replace people at their jobs, and when you went from Neil Huntington to Ben Sherrington, again, you're thinking, how can things go bad? Because how much worse can they get? Because you had those several years between 16, 17, where it's like, all right, they're going back to their losing ways. And then they had a winning record in 2018, and the wheels fell off with the trade. I mean, everyone brings up that infamous Chris Archer trade that we sold away all these prospects, and it left us completely, uncertain of the future. But when you look at like what the organization has done since 2019, we have accumulated almost nothing, like 0 bats, almost nothing. I think throughout the entire 6 years, you have what to show for it. You have Nick Gonzalez, who can't stay healthy. You have Henry Davis, who they decided to completely just destroy with his he was a catcher, and then they started to put him out in different positions, and I think that really just messed with him, and he could not really full-on recover, and he has not been the same ever since. I mean, mismanagement has always been kind of the MO of this particular staff. Like this entire Ben Sherrington, Travis Williams reign, along with Derek Shelton, I mean, getting rid of him, again, that right there is just one thing in the garbage, but there's so much more mess to clean up. It's just one piece of garbage as opposed to this huge dump of a situation. Like it's towering. It's about as far as the eye can see. It's one of those, headshots in movies where you just see that keep growing and growing and growing. You're just like, oh my gosh, how is this going to get cleaned up? And that's what it is. This has just been an absolute travesty of the situation. But tomorrow is another series coming up, and they have to suit up. And they have to go out there and just stand in the field. Hopefully, when the ball comes to them, they know what to do with it. And then they get into the dugout. Then they go into the batter's box. And when the ball comes to them, hopefully the bat makes contact and it goes in a place where all the other players are not. I mean, it sounds so easy when you put it in those subtexts, and I understand. I understand that it's easier said than done. And this is why we're fans and they are the professionals. But again, how many years have we been witnessing some of the worst development and some of the worst just effort? I can't remember the last time I watched a baseball game where I watched professionals look as diminished and as just defeated as that team looks. Like there's nothing enjoyable. Like everyone just seems like we know that Keller, Haney, Santana, Bednar, IKF, even Hayes, it seems like none of them are safe, where it's like they're going to be traded. And they know they have to go for the rest of the season with prospects and pretty much almost nothing that's going to make them even remotely, want to come and see. And then the poor people that have to endure it is guys like Skeens, who don't have a say in where they go. And again, it just seems like the fans that are left feel like they have to kind of give an apology to the guy for getting chosen by us. There is absolutely no justification for this amount of ineptness. I mean, again, this is all just my first pitch conversation. In my 7th inning stretch, I have Yinzer having big problems. And again, what is the big problems? Everybody that's in charge, everybody who has any responsibility for this situation. Again, I think I've brought this up at least 3 or 4 times since doing this podcast. Is it original? Of course not. It's virtually like we, as a podcast system that cover Pirates, it's like you're giving us like one color to paint this canvas with, and it's white. That's pretty much the issue that it is with these topics where it's like, what more can I say? You know, the grass is green, the sky is blue, the Pirates don't care. They seem to have this ability to feel like we have a right to be put in this position. Like, how dare you want good things for the Pirates? This is how they're not changing. Like, the people that are in charge are never going to change this stance. I mean, there have been billboards. There have been chants of sell the team. There have been how many different things. And they still continue to put this out. They have not done anything between Bob Nutting, Travis Williams, and Ben Sherrington to make this a more competitive team. When I saw they drafted Paul Skeens, and they did not really put a whole lot of effort to improve what the roster looks like, that really is telling to you right there. If you have a player that is a guy that comes along like him every 20, 30 years, and you don't try to build around him, you don't try to improve the team, you don't try to have any type of other culture other than what it has always been, then that tells you everything. And again, I suffer through it because I do love this team. I want to root for this team. I don't want to root for anyone who is currently in charge of pretty much destroying this entire franchise, this historic franchise, to what it has become, which is a complete joke. These poor players, it's like they have no choice. I see like there's two things that it could possibly be as to why it has become this way, and both of them have to do with the organization themselves. It has nothing to do with the players. Number one, either they are drafting players who don't care, which would make no sense. If you're a baseball player and you have been in the business of Little League, Teener League, high school, college, I mean, whatever system you go through, and then you realize you're going to go to a team like Pittsburgh, it's one of the most unique situations in any other organization. I don't see any other team handling themselves as poorly as the Pirates do. There is no other organization I can think of. Maybe what? I mean, the team that just beat the snot out of us? I mean, that might be the case. They may not have an organization that cares, but I mean, it just seems like all you have to do is face the Pirates and your problems are solved. This is what happens when you are a bad team. These are the results when you are a losing team. They just don't develop. They don't bring these drafts in. They don't bring the talent in. Anyone who comes to the Pirates feels like this is the thing that will get them to the next step of either retirement or just playing in general or another team, and they'll actually go to some other team and actually start doing something spectacular. Again, I really wish I could stop sounding like a broken record, but this is the material they keep giving us. This is absolutely the most asinine handling you can pretty much ask anyone to have. When I look at a team like the Miami Marlins, I just recently did the payrolls and see what it looks like. And yeah, the Pirates are down there, but they are not the worst. I think they're the fourth or fifth cheapest team. I think their payroll is currently at $85 million. And the Miami Marlins are currently the cheapest at $67. If I'm right about this, I think they are close to a 500 record. They are actually playing competitive baseball, and they're actually looking like they're still in the wild card discussion. Team that's the cheapest in baseball. So it has nothing to do with money. Doesn't. It has to do with how the organization wants to be run. And once again, these results just come from anyone who's in charge that just does not seem to want something different. The wild card years from 2013 to 15 seemed like such an illusion. Like it didn't actually happen because they're the only 3 years where it's like, wow, they actually put big product on the team. They actually had a coach that could get this team to get themselves in a place to win. They always had smart, intelligent people like that were coaches. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing now. Their best hitter is 38, turning 39, and the most promising player, it's either home run or strikeout. It just amazes me how this team continues to have the issues they have, but always seem to be trustworthy on disappointing. That's the one thing they're consistent of. But yeah, I'll close it out with this. Knowing that they have the rest of this season with these trades coming and giving up the players, and then you're going to watch about a month and a half of just, I don't know. Like, I really don't know how it's going to look. Maybe the pressure will be off and maybe some good things will happen. The issue is they know what's coming. Players like Reynolds and Kutch, with these younger guys, they're going to be the ones left practically. I mean, Frazier's gone with his trade. And again, guys like Hayes and IKF are probably going to be gone. And again, they're some of the more consistent guys who actually take care of business. And it just seems like there's absolutely nothing coming from the offensive side. And with these trades, who knows what they're going to get back. I mean, everyone's pretty much convinced that they're just going to get back the scraps that they've always been getting, that you can't develop. It's like, it doesn't matter who they bring in if they have to be developed. That's the thing about this. If they're, counting on this organization to get them to another place, we know it's just not happening, because the coaching staff, everyone who's involved with the minor league system, doesn't prepare them for the major leagues. Again, these are always the problems. These are always going to be the issues. But 2026 is a very long time away, and they have to get ready for it in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know what else to say about it, but it just needs to be aware of from this point forward that these podcasts will just kind of really be looking at things for improvement. Because, again, we already know the record sucks. We know the team sucks. We know the whole situation sucks. So I will do my darndest not to bring these things up anymore, and I will just do everything I possibly can to highlight any positives. Like, if it has to be just one hit, if it just has to be one inning where a pitcher did 3 up 3, I mean, if it has to be that minuscule, that's where I'm going to go. But I really do appreciate anyone who has been watching. I know it's not been easy, but again, these guys need someone to root for. We need this team to be here. I mean, it's one of the more important things of summer. That's what I like so much about Pittsburgh, where it's like in the summertime, you enjoy going to the ball game, and you just enjoy seeing that skyline and seeing some of the more important things to go down, because it is a great sport to enjoy. But they have to start playing the game again. When will that happen? You can only hope that it's coming sooner than later. So you guys have yourselves a good one. I appreciate you watching. And hey, guys, let's go Bucks.